spend some time with the dead.
On demand almost. We'd be like, hey, can you like touch the duck or make it go off? And it would just start lighting up and going crazy.
Why should we be afraid of you?
Hello and welcome to What Goes Bump the Night. I'm your host, Riley Clark, and alongside me today is
Trevor Jensen.
And our special guests, Cassie and Ron, Weeping Willow Paranormal.
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
I have too long of arms for that. So, tell us a little bit about yourselves. Where are you guys from?
So we are based in Niagara region in Ontario, Canada. So we currently live really close to the Buffalo. Like we're 5 minutes to the border to get to the border to Buffalo. So it's pretty cool. But I should say, kind of as me. I'm like the leader of the group, I guess. But we started about almost 2 years ago now. Like we're like literally a month away from 2 years ago. We started investigating. So initially it was me and my husband, Ron, investigating. But he is a complete skeptic. So then Reese, who couldn't be here tonight, we went to school together. For massage therapy. But anyways, so she likes creepy things. I like creepy things. So I'm like, do you want to come along with me to help me? Because I didn't want to be alone. Because that's kind of like I don't want to be on an investigation by myself.
That's like
so I asked her to come along.
You just don't do it.
It's like, yeah, you shouldn't be in paranormal investigating alone. That's
No.
a scary thing.
Especially like where we were going with Screaming Tunnels, which is like we went to Screaming Tunnels like kind of debunk the urban legend to see if we can debunk it, but it's like a lot of people party out there, so I'm like I don't want to go by myself because that's just I don't want to do it. So I invited her along, so she kind of like helped me for a bit. Ron and I did it for a few investigations, but then he backed off because he's like and then Reese kind of like so he was like, I don't know about this stuff. And then Reese and I kind of kept investigating. But this past September, we went to Virginia City, me and Ron, and he had some experiences. And then he's like, I'm coming along now. So that's how we started. So
I love that. That's awesome. I'm glad that like somebody else too that we've now talked to has also been like, I'm skeptical about this. Because that's the best part is like, well, I can't explain it. What the fuck do I do now?
Right. Did you feel like being a skeptic and then having your own experiences kind of made you like question more about like, okay, is there something like I'm not fully like grasping here, or is it something bigger, like scientific that could be easily explained?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go too in depth, but like my background growing up, obviously born again Christian, so a lot of this stuff was taught, there's no life after death, right? Heaven, hell, that's it. Mm-hmm. There's no in between. There's no such thing as ghosts, spirits, all that kind of stuff. So for Cassie to be involved in the paranormal, and when she, started out on this channel and everything, I was like, I don't know, right? And so, but I love my wife and I support her. So this is something she wants to do, and I support her, right? So when I did go to Virginia City for PEX, it was an eye opener because I did experience some things that I can't explain. And when I talked to some friends, like, oh, well, it's the demons, it's the devil trying to sway you away from God. And like, it's like, well, yeah, maybe not. I don't know. So there's a lot of, I have lots of questions, like lots of, and I'm struggle daily to understand kind of what Cassie's experiencing and just, because she does have a sixth sense of things. Like she has a gift, and and yeah, so it's definitely been an interesting journey so far.
Heck yeah. I mean, that's pretty much what like drives my passion is just like the thought of not knowing what is happening, like why or how or and like every little minute detail is like, it's so interesting to me. Like, how how does this interact with that? How can it manifest itself in these ways? Like it's so interesting. It boggles my mind, like you said, daily. Like I don't think there's a day that's gone by that I haven't been like, so like if I swung on a ghost and I made like a connection, like did I punch a ghost when it was manifesting? Or did I punch a ghost and it was always there, but I just so happened to be right there at that time?
Right. Sometimes I think that too. Like if a spirit can like physically touch you, can you physically touch a spirit? Like, is that a reaction that can happen?
Or is it only certain people? Like if she has a gift per se where she's more in tune with spirits, or say like the veil of realities is a lot thinner, so like you can, I guess you could say it's like an amoeba where you can like move through it like water almost. Like I wonder, so it's like is it us seeing that, or is it just everybody can see this and nobody is paying enough attention?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That's a really good question, because like okay, for example, like I've always been interested in the paranormal and I've had experience as a kid. I don't really want to it's kind of weird, so I'm not going to go into it. But so that's how kind of why I've always been interested in this. So I've always, when I fell into the whole YouTube world, because I didn't know investigation was a thing, because I didn't have Ghost Hunters or Ghost Adventures on TV. So I only read like Ghost Haunted Canada books or Haunted Ontario books, like, or I'd read like R.L. Stine Goosebumps. Like I was always
Love it.
weird in that weird realm. So, but Ron, like having, obviously, I mean, we were both raised in the same way, but like, where you're like, didn't really believe and you weren't having experiences at the investigations we did together, but I was having experiences. But now that his eyes are open a little bit more, he's experiencing different things. So I wonder if it's like people are being a little bit more closed, or who are more closed off,
right?
Really don't see it. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I would think so.
Yeah, we've talked about it before, and like something we've always done on this show is like make connections with things that we learn from other people or other people's experiences. And it almost seems like the people who have the most experiences are the most open to having a spiritual encounter with a spirit, like an energy. So if you don't believe in them, you're probably not going to have an experience unless say you're deeply connected to this person that passes away and they try so hard to be noticed, and you eventually just do because they're on your mind or whatever it is. So like you're unaware that you're opening that door, but at the same time it's open enough for them to like reach through, if that makes sense.
I would say it's like a form of manifestation. Like if you want something to happen bad enough and you put enough energy into it, it's almost like you're a lightning rod.
Yeah.
So how many investigations would you guys say you've done now?
So I just counted last night. I think we're at around 20, because our episodes have been a lot of like part 3s and part 4. I mean, we've gone on other like little ones, but not like necessarily put it out into the YouTube world. But because I basically, like, even how I got started my channel, I was just gonna do it for myself. And then my friend Crow Judas, I don't know if you guys have seen him around, but he's freaking amazing. He's like, just do YouTube, and I was like, post it out in the world, and I was like, I don't know how to edit. So then I finally did it. So like. So basically all my investigations are what I've done. We have done like we've gone on ghost walk tours, and we've done like little things and stuff, and there'll be future ones that we won't post just because we're going to one coming up we're going back to Conwood Mansion, but it's like a public ghost hunt, so that won't be like a video. But
we've done the same thing. And there was a time where like we've gone on investigations and we didn't film or anything. Like we just did it for ourselves just to go have the experience. And like sometimes it can be a little much filming. Like honestly,
it seems a little bit overwhelming at times, where it's like I just came for the experience, and now it's like a production.
Like, yeah, when you're in a whole different mindset, you know what I mean? Like you're not necessarily in the like set of like I'm ghost hunting right now. You're in
it's funny
of, like,
that we're saying this because we just talked about this, where it's like I have to be a producer and like an investigator at the same time, and it's like well, I got to put on my big boy pants and my directing cap today.
Yeah,
because I mean we bring our friends with us and they don't have like the visual concept of like what we're trying to create as a video for viewers, and And it's like sometimes we're like, okay, we got to tell you what to do right now because
Am I
we-
being mean?
Yeah, am I being mean right now, or am I just being a boss?
Am
don't
I a
know.
camera Nazi? I don't know. Ay. So I don't, man. I guess like if I would have to say, how many investigations do you think we've done now?
Well, I've done ones without you, where I went to like.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like if
West
we
End, but-
tallied all of them up, do you think we're about at 20?
We gotta be somewhere close to that.
I would say I think we're probably close to that number. I honestly have never actually counted.
Yeah.
It just seems like I'm more excited looking forward to the next one before anything.
Yeah.
So do you guys have anything coming up lately that you've been working on to go do?
Okay, so that's a loaded question. So next week, though, this is like what I can talk about. Next
Heck
week,
yeah.
we're going to a location that Reese actually got. So she, her client works for a real estate agent, and they're
Ooh.
having issues selling a house because of the activity. So we're going in to investigate it and then clear it if need be. So that's going to
Heck
be
yeah.
pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about that one because it's so like different. So
Yeah, it seems very obscure.
Freaking Sweet.
yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah. No, I was like, when she told me, I'm like, I'm down. I'm like, so.
It pays to have friends in real estate, honestly. Buying houses, selling houses, and getting invited to go do ghost hunts.
Yeah.
How much better does that get?
No,
Yeah.
there's actually a house in Niagara on the Lake that's, I think it's still for sale.
No, it's sold.
Oh, it's sold?
Yeah.
Man. Okay. So it was like up for like years. It was like $3 million, this house. But it's like, I know. I wanted to actually buy it.
It's in the heart of Niagara. on the
Yeah,
Lake,
Niagara on
so
the Lake
That
is
is-
like ritzy.
it's
Like if you live in Niagara on the Lake, it's like
You're rich.
you're
You
rich.
have money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
Oh,
Bill Gates.
So this this house has been up, and I've like when they do like I've been on the ghost walk tour for Niagara on the Lake, and they always walk by it, and they always talk about all the activity that happens there, and I'm like, I would love to just buy that house and like rent it out, like act it like what do you want to call like a normal haunted location, you know? That'd be cool.
Yeah, like what haunted like USA Ghost Hunt USA does. How they'll
Yeah.
like rent locations out and they'll like be like, all right, we'll put a price tag on it for a night and then
Yeah, like super
It's
cheap because I know like freaking investigations $1 billion,
stupid
so
cool.
I'd be like cheap, but it'd be like a business, but I don't know. But now
Yeah.
it's sold, I guess.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, the paranormal world just became an industry.
yeah,
crazy.
it's now like a boom town where it's like
Yeah.
they can set up shop
Like-
and they're gonna make their money.
There's so many, and it's an awesome thing. Don't get me wrong. It's
Yeah,
awesome
I'm
seeing
glad that
all
there's
these
revenue
people,
being
like,
generated.
come forward and being like, I believe in the paranormal, like, and I want to document it too. Like, that's honestly, why we started doing
But
it.
at
so-
what point does it become extortion?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah. And then another thing that's coming up though, we do have a pretty big trip planned. I'm not gonna say where, but we got some locations coming up. We're traveling south, that's all I'm gonna say. So
That's awesome.
yeah. So, but we'll be going live from each location we go to, and it's also a collab with Cemetery Road. So Jason and Karen from Australia. So she's Doof Doof. I'm not sure if you guys seen her around Doof Doof
Doof
Paranormal.
I
Doof
love that.
I'm not sure.
So she's coming from Australia. So it's gonna be this. I can't wait. So it's gonna be.
Oh, that is epic
That's
as
gonna be-
hell.
Yeah, that's so epic.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty jealous.
Yeah, it's gonna be like it's a pretty big things. I'm not gonna say so, but it's pretty cool. I can't wait.
Hell yeah.
That
Yeah, I
sounds
can't wait
freaking
till you
amazing.
guys like actually like say where you're going and like really see the whole thing and then get to see the whole thing happen too. How far out is that?
The end of the month.
Yeah, end of the month. So 28
Is it really?
days.
Heck yeah.
So I have like
That's
a countdown
so
on my
cool.
phone. So I'm like, I
Oh,
always
I
check it.
bet.
I'm like, wait, 22 days.
That's so awesome.
So, have you done any like places in Canada that we probably wouldn't even know about being, American?
I was gonna say, like, is there like a rich history around where you guys are?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, especially where we are, because if you're familiar with the Battle of 1812, so
Between
like,
the Americans. And the
yeah,
British.
Americans and the British. So there is a lot of battlegrounds in our area, like Fort Erie. There's actually an old fort called Old Fort Erie, which I had 2 experiences at just on the ghost
heck
walk
yeah.
tour they had, which were pretty bizarre. Like you were just like, whatever, I'm like, it's in your head. So
Bah, bah
so
humbug.
what happened was So I've never been on this tour before, the Ghost Walk tour. So we were walking through, like, there's like a little tunnel and you walk up out into like an open field, basically. So it's like inside the actual walls of the fort.
Yeah.
And immediately as I walked through like the tunnel into like the open area, I got like a pounding headache. Like it came out of nowhere. And then the guide started talking about a story about a guy who got his head blown off, like in that area. So I was like,
cannon fire.
yeah, and I was like, what the heck? So that was really weird.
That's so
And
fucking
then
brutal.
Yeah, he was getting his hair cut, I think, by a barber. I think that's the
Holy
story
hell.
behind it.
That, yeah.
And then another story was like we were walking through whatever, and I felt like I got touched on the leg, which happens a lot because find that I think children spirits, probably me being a mom, are around me. So we were walking, and I felt like I got touched in the leg, and I kind of looked around, and like Ron wasn't close enough to me like for it to tap my leg. And then they started talking about the children who lived on the fort. So I was like, that's just freaking weird. And then we kind of captured a weird like a light anomaly too inside one of the buildings. I would love to actually investigate that location, but because it's part of the Niagara Parks Commission, I'll probably be
federally owned.
Yeah,
so
federally,
you
yeah.
Filming rights, and then
I'll say that's really, really naughty at that point.
$3 to $5 grand.
Well,
for,
easily 5 because
yeah.
when we looked at the power station that's in Niagara Falls, it was 5,000. So we're like, no. So and that was just because of like
if we
security.
were like a high-end documentary like Discovery
Yeah,
Channel.
if I had like a travel
doing
show
it.
documentary all day long, I'd
That's
do
like
it.
one of those things. Like, is this video gonna make its money back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, but like ad revenue has to be a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's yeah, but like so there's a lot of like in Niagara on the Lake, as we talked about. We've investigated a lot of locations in Niagara on the Lake because they say it's like one of like Canada's or Ontario's most haunted locations. Because during the War of 1812, the Americans burnt it all down to the ground. So only a few buildings and houses are original to that time period. I'm not sure if you guys obviously know Paranormal XP, so we've did a collab with them. But the Old Angel Inn is like we actually
it's the oldest pub in North America.
Yeah, oldest pub in North America.
Cool.
Yeah. And it's a really cool location.
Yeah, so that was one of our very first locations ever. So if you look at our channel, it's Prince of Wales, which is also Niagara on the Lake. We stayed in room 207, which is said to be the most haunted room. We didn't really get much. It was really expensive not to really get.
Yeah.
It was very expensive, but it's like a ritzy hotel though.
It's
so
a fancy hotel.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you kind of get your money's worth for just the luxury of it.
Yeah.
Exactly, and we had it like it was our date night, whatever. So that was kind of like, but we like filmed.
Our spooky day night.
Yes, we'll never go on a normal vacation ever again. It'll be only paranormal.
I love that.
And then our next investigation was Old Angel Inn. And I lesson learned, keep the camera rolling, because we actually had, Ron will remember this. So we were sitting on the bed and there were like 2 rooms. We were staying in the general quarters. Yeah, quarter. So there's 2 rooms. So and there's like a bathroom in between the rooms. And I'm like, we're just waiting for the pub to quiet down because it's above a pub.
Yeah.
And it was just loud. So we were just hanging out. And out of the corner of my eye, I saw like a white mist float out of the bathroom, and I jolted. And he like looks at me and was like, "What?" And I was like, "I just saw something." I'm like, "I don't know what that was," but cameras weren't rolling. And we had a little bit of stuff there. That time we had a little bit more when I went with Paranormal XP, mostly through like the dual Estes method. And interesting things. So like Niagara on the Lake, definitely we have a lot of history. We've done a lot of battlegrounds. I don't normally do cemeteries just because a lot of them are newer and I don't like really want to like disrespect. Like I don't want to like a family member be like, you were on my grandfather's grave or whatever. So I tend to stay away from that. But we did do the Drummond Hill Cemetery in Niagara Falls, which was part of the Battle of War of 1812. And if the Canadian or British didn't win that war, it would be part of the U.S. So that's kind of cool. Anyways, but I treated it like a battleground. So we stayed kind of in the more older part, and that was a pretty cool location. We had some interesting things. Also kind of a shady part of Niagara Falls. So like me and Reese were like, we had to keep watching out because we would see like people like walking like through, and cops circle that area a lot too.
And it's like,
yeah. So that was kind of great. That was a cool thing. He was with that. And then the Beck House. So the Beck House is probably another one of my favorite locations. I've only been there once, but that's definitely extremely haunted because I had a shadow figure rush me in the kitchen without no recording because it was the morning. All my batteries were dead. So
Sheila Hall asks you, are your kids having experiences?
Okay, I guess the only thing I can think that stands out in my mind is my oldest kind of ties to my experience I had the same night, but I didn't know until the morning after, like the morning later. Okay, so what happened was I felt like that night, I felt like a man was watching me, like a shadow guy. And I was like feeling uneasy. So I was in my office here and then I'm like looking over and I kept thinking I saw a shadow. So then I was time for bed. I go to bed usually earlier than him. So because I'm always tired. So I went to bed.
Always
I still felt like I was being watched, which is not typical because like our house is not haunted. I've seen things in our house, but I think they're mostly just showing up saying, hey, you can see us, like, hello, kind of thing. So I sensed him and I said out loud, I said, please leave me alone. I'm trying to sleep. So I said that, fell asleep. He comes into the room and I think because he startled me awake, my first thing I opened my eyes was a man in the corner of my room. And it's like, I swore, which I don't typically do. So it freaked him out because I'm swearing at
like,
this
whoa.
shadow guy. And I'm like, there's a shadow. What did I say? A man?
Yeah.
I said a man or whatever. So I saw someone in the corner of the room, very tall man. And so then I fell back to sleep. Fine. But that morning I was talking to my oldest daughter, her room is next to ours. And she said that she felt like someone was watching her too. But then it turned out like a week later, we were talking about it again. And she said that she had felt something and then woke up or whatever. And then she heard me swear. So we had this at the same time. We had the same experience. So that I guess got goosebumps.
I don't feel like that's a coinky dink at all.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely like a sign.
I don't think so many winky dinks until it actually might be real.
So do you think that you've ever encountered, say, like a malevolent spirit that like meant harm to you guys or
No.
done anything like that?
No, not. I mean, I've had like where I've been like kind of felt like I was being watched, like on investigations, or like I felt a little bit uneasy, but never like anything negative.
Yeah, not like malicious enough to where it's like, fuck.
Yeah, with the guy in my house, I was just more like annoyed. I'm like, I just want to sleep. Stop watching me. So
I can't deal with that either. I don't like that the back of the hair on the neck, like where it's like, this is like a scary movie, and I don't like it.
Yeah. I wish I don't even watch scary movies, but then I investigate.
Like, I dig scary movies because I can like turn it off, be like, see, they made that up. They came up with
all
this.
about the psychological thrillers.
Those, I would say I actually do live for those, not gonna lie. So I guess like I would say that we've encountered a few on our investigations, which was really wild. And the funniest part is to this day last year on Good Friday, we encountered either like a malicious spirit that was trying to trick us, or we actually encountered something that was like trying to be like I don't know, like sound intimidating. It's probably the best way to say that, right?
Yeah. It was calling itself the devil and like saying all of this like satanic stuff and
and this was on Good Friday last year, which is coming up. So it's like, well,
like the video that plays in our intro, we asked like, why should we be scared of you? And it says I'm the devil.
And it's like,
that was literally a year ago. So it's
like, and I don't think they just play that on the radio. Like, I don't know about that one. That one had me like, I don't usually believe like, and that's funny to go into this too. Do you guys believe in like the spirit boxes like that, how it sweeps through the radios? Like, I don't put a ton of validity in it, but there's sometimes where it's like, okay, the hell is that? Like, I don't get this.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm skeptical about the spirit box myself personally, just because it's sweeping through channels. You know, like get a little bit like, you know, it's
and you can easily misinterpret things.
Yeah, but every once in a while something solid does come through, like that Emma. That blew us away. Like what?
So
if you hear it between the dips too, like between the channels, you're like, wait a minute. Like, I get that it's sweeping quickly, but like it shouldn't have been there regardless.
Have you used the spirit talker?
Yeah, I do. I have mixed emotions with apps.
I know.
But
I know.
spirits,
I have my reservations.
I know, like I always have it on airplane mode. So I always also always point it out in my my videos. I'm on airplane mode, so people know that. But I'm still
Right.
like, there's sometimes it's been like, I don't want to totally give it away, but something happened in our episode that's coming up tomorrow night at 9. It was
Check it
like,
out.
what? Like, it was like, it was just so weird. So there's like those instances where like, I don't know, or we were at the Beck House, and the woman's name, it said to, like, she lived there like in the I believe the early 1900s or late 1800s. Her name was Amelia, and that name came through. Like, 'cause we're asking like, what's your name? It says Amelia, and we're like,
So
there's like
weird.
times where it's like,
It's similar to the spirit box, right? Like,
exactly.
sometimes like it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't, but it could make sense if you like maybe dug into stuff a little bit. But
I just
like,
don't think that you can legitimately, like, how do I want to say it? Make an app that has an algorithm that listens to your words and like coherently can generate words that are similar to spit back out at you like that. I don't know. Like, it take like an amazing, flawless mind that could make something like that up.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
shout out
just
Spotted Ghost,
weird.
though.
Saying hi to Exploring Harley too. Love you,
Yeah.
buddy.
Hey, Arlie.
That is a bummer.
That is terribly bummer.
Oh shoot.
And everybody else in the chat too.
Yeah,
Don't think
everyone
we're
that's
ignoring
popped
you.
in.
It's just hard to like do both because my attention is such a squirrel's.
Yeah, 13 Spirits, Adventures with Allie, Maisie. It's the
You're
screen's a
going
long
for
ways
it.
of war.
You're going for it.
Sheila Hall. Seen Dan Texas in there.
Yeah.
Z.
We love you all.
We love you all. Thank you for tuning in and speaking with us.
So where
the
would you
chat.
guys say your favorite location you've explored or gotten to investigate has been so far?
Okay, so it's kind of a tie. So when we were in Virginia, I actually know what I'm gonna say. Washoe Club, I think.
Washoe Club?
Wait, you got to what?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sick.
That's awesome.
So what's
Yeah.
cool?
How'd you swing that?
We were there part of an event.
Okay.
And we were able to, like, we weren't like we were there through PEX experience. I'm not sure if you guys heard of it. Like, a bunch of people were there. We were one of the guest teams to go, but we weren't like, it wasn't like we ended up booking it separately from the event. So it wasn't like because we were just part of the event. We just ended up booking it. Our friend Karen, she's freaking amazing from Australia.
She was amazing.
Yeah, so she booked it for us.
She made it happen.
Yeah, she made it happen. So she always be like, I'm from Australia, so like they have to go to. But anyways, so that's how we got it. So we were just we were there, and we also got Mackey Mansion, also in Virginia City. But Washoe Club, I think, stands out to me more. I mean, it's almost tied with Mackey, because Mackey is where I saw my first apparition on an investigation. It didn't get nothing happened on camera. The camera was pointed to the direction where I saw her, but I saw a little girl, and I was looking ahead, and I'm like, "Is there?" You hear me on camera. I'm like, "Is there a doll over there?" Because like my brain's trying to rationalize what I'm seeing. Because I'm like,
exactly.
I'm like, okay, what am I seeing? And they're like, oh, like they pointed like further to the left or whatever, and I'm like, was it like a gargoyle doll? So I'm like, definitely not what I'm seeing. And I'm like, there's a little girl. Like, so I saw a little girl sitting next to like a dining room chair height. So she was little. And obviously Mackey Mansion is known to be haunted by Emma. Like, one of the ghosts is Emma. So that was pretty crazy. But Washoe beats it because the amount of disembodied voices we heard and caught on camera was insane.
And
like,
the card game was pretty cool.
And the card game. So we were playing poker. I don't like kind of like poker. It wasn't like a proper game of poker.
We were playing poker.
I don't know.
I'm so jealous.
Oh, that sounds so
We
awesome.
were playing poker. We dealt a hand for the spirit that was in the room, and his hand won.
Or her. We don't
Or
know.
her.
Oh my God.
It was,
and it won, and we're like, do you like this hand?
Yeah.
Like, before we knew about the cards, like what because Karen was like kind of holding up and looking away, so she couldn't see the cards.
Yeah.
And we're like, do you like your hand? And then the 2 EMF readers lit up. REM pod went off.
Going off.
And then
Like,
the hand wins.
Yeah.
And we're like,
It was,
Oh, I got goosebumps from that.
Yeah.
That's
I
so
know,
exciting, right?
me
That's
too.
so awesome.
I will have.
That's so unique too, because nobody's ever told me a story about them playing poker with a ghost. Like that's so
Yeah.
cool.
it was interesting.
Yeah, it was a lot of. There was like 6 of us on that investigation.
That's one of the scenarios.
but-
me being a skeptic's like, how do you explain that?
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
like literally how like there's no electronic equipment in the room causing the electronic equipment to go off, right?
Is
Yeah.
Like there's no way
Didn't
to
someone get
you know-
shot at the Washoe Club for having cards in their hand?
Like they were
Something like that?
cheating.
Is that?
I think so.
I think
can't-
there is a story.
I'm
Yeah.
sure there was a bunch of accounts of that, of cheating and
Yeah.
like people getting like taught a lesson.
Yeah. No, that place was like we saw like a lot of little heads popping out of corners. We actually caught an EVP when we were leaving because we're all saying
Oh,
goodbye,
nice.
and it said "see ya,"
See ya.
and we just caught on the
Damn.
camera audio. So that's on part 3 of Washoe Club of my episodes. But yeah, insane. Like that's where you heard the disembodied voice, and
Yeah.
it said yes, and then it was crazy. That Washoe Club I think just beats out Mackie just because we had crazy experiences at Mackie. I got like pretty much if you watch it, I was doing sensory depth and a breath came so loud through my headphones, I threw my headphones off my head. And like it scared the crap out of all of them. But I'm like, I just chucked it because I was like, it was so loud, it scared me. I was like, no.
And it was in the stairs, right?
On the stairs.
And obviously, I guess finding out now, like stairways are
Yeah.
basically like portals.
Really?
So there can be a lot of activity in stairways.
Yeah.
Huh.
I've actually never heard that before.
I knew mirrors could be, but
Not portals, but stairways are
I have a lot of energy.
a lot of energy. Like
it's like a corridor because everything flows through it. Like if you have to
Yeah,
go
and
to
people
the-
like a lot of like residual stuff too. Because at Cottonwood Mansion, our latest episodes, we had me and Reese had a lot of activity in the stairwell too. So like, I'm trying to think. Like I felt like there was someone behind. Like it was a lot, but I feel like that any place that has stairs that I've encountered always kind of felt that way. But Mackie was like the craziest experience with the headphones because I like if you actually watch Cemetery Roads episode, I can't remember because we did a collab with him for that investigation. He has the front view of me and he slows it down to like slow motion. It's the funniest thing in the whole entire world. So
I love that.
Sheila had a good question here. Ron, as a skeptic, do you remember the first time you had that holy crap, I can't explain it moment?
Let's go like as far back as like even childhood stuff. Like, was there anything in your
Yeah.
childhood that you can't explain that you had happen?
when I think back to my childhood, I don't think I really ever experienced anything. Only because of my upbringing, and that kind of stuff just wasn't thought of. I mean, if I had to think as a kid, I remember one time I was in my friend's garage and we were just like playing basketball or something. And then I started like spinning around jokingly. And then I like completely blacked out, like just blacked out. Like just, I fell on the ground and banged my head on the concrete. And,
Oh, man.
And when I woke up, I'm looking up and there's like 4 people over top of me looking at me. And I'm like, what's the matter? And they're like, you blacked out. I'm like, what do you mean I blacked out? I didn't black out. And I thought, and then I realized, oh, wait a second, why am I laying on the ground?
yeah.
Like I had no recollection as to what
Oh
happened.
yeah.
Very
I
weird.
don't know if that's paranormal.
It's not paranormal, but
That's
it's
weird.
Weird.
But Washoe
I'll say
Club
it's a
probably-
loss of time, and losing time is weird. Like,
Yes.
like I don't know, like blacking out even when you're drinking and waking up the next day, and then like, why the fuck am I here? It's scary enough for me.
Yeah.
Or like sometimes if you go to like certain places, like I know we call it up north here. So if you go up north Michigan, it seems like time just moves at a different pace.
It's slow, so slow.
Like an hour up north takes like an entire day, I swear.
I swear to God, it's fun, it's nice, but it's so slow. Like when you're driving over to like go to over the bridge in Mackinac and stuff, it's like, wow, this took fucking 12 years.
Yeah,
but being a
so-
skeptic, I guess
like Washoe Club is what.
Washoe Club is probably
Yeah.
kind of like opened my eyes up with what we experienced there, and it's just
Yeah.
like, whoa, I can't explain that.
Yeah.
I can't even begin to fathom when I was saying to Cassie, like I don't even know how I would talk to my Christian friends about this because they'd all be like, "You're crazy."
How do I even like dance around the subject?
Yeah,
I guess my next question would be, what's a like dream location for you? Like a location that you may never get to do it, but like if you had the chance to, you would spend a week there.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Oof.
One location, if I can say it, like a extended period of time. I don't even know, because like there's so many locations I want to go to. Any like the asylums are like high on my bucket list. Like Trans-Allegheny.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're not very far from there. I think we're only like 3 hours or something.
Is that the one where Shawshank Redemption was filmed?
No, that's Ohio State. Actually, that's another place.
That would be really cool.
Ohio State Reformatory.
Yeah.
I would say
places.
Auschwitz too. I would really like to investigate
Oh.
Auschwitz. That'd be wild.
don't-
I just got goosebumps thinking about that.
I don't know.
It would be
That'd be
very
bad.
sketchy.
I don't know
Yeah.
because so a little bit, because we're on like kind of talked about, I feel a lot of stuff. So I feel energy, like people in spaces that don't have people in them, like just goes. So I don't know if I could handle Auschwitz actually.
Right. Especially if like
so-
you're very empathic. Like, ooh, that'd be very
Yeah.
overwhelming.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do that
It
one.
would be. I
But
think
like
it would be.
I want to go like Ireland or Scotland and like the castles.
fun.
Like that is kind of like those are
Yeah.
like my like I don't know. Like there's a lot of like oh my gosh, okay, one being Canadian is Kingston Penitentiary.
Oh yeah.
It's
I don't know if
called,
I ever heard that one.
okay, this is where Paul Bernardo stayed at when he would,
Oh.
because now it's not a functioning open jail because the age of it.
The
You know more about it.
The history behind Kingston Pen is it was the oldest, longest running jail in all of North America. So and it just recently closed in 2013, and they opened it up as like a museum, so you can go in and you have to sign a waiver to do the tour, but they do tours, and it's just a fascinating building. Like the entire jail, like everything's built out of limestone, and like there's like this center hub area where like they call it the center hub of the jail, and it's like 4 stories high, and it's just this octagonal shaped room, and there's like gangplanks like where all the prisoners would walk around, and like it was like the common area, and right in the very center it had like a turret shaped bullet thing with bulletproof glass that the guards would stay in, because that was like the control room for like opening up the gates and the unlocking gates, and
Yeah.
you know the flow of the jail, like just crazy, like
Yeah.
the history there, and just the amount of like there's I can't even.
Yeah,
It's
I
crazy.
would
That'd
die.
be a really cool location.
I would want to. Like, that's like my bucket list, but it'd be probably thousands. I'm sure if you're like a TV show, you could probably get in there because they film movies and stuff there now. Actually, Reese's sister, it was like worked for like a movie production thing, but she was like the medic or whatever. She got to like wander Kingston Penitentiary by herself. They're like, just make sure you don't close doors.
And that's crazy because
So-
they're very like when you're on the tour, there's only certain areas you're allowed to go through, and you're looking like, oh, I'd love to go up there.
Way up there.
And the guy's like, it's just like this over here that we're going to show you. It's the same thing. You're not like, yeah, but that looks really different.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is like the tour guides in the prison are actual retired prison guards. So they actually work from
yeah.
the penitentiary. So they're telling you their stories and their experiences. And so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's probably like on top of my bucket list, which it probably or any of the forts in Niagara, like in the Niagara area, or any fort.
Yeah,
like,
I think
there's
forts
forts in
would be
Kingston
pretty
too. But
so
Yeah.
cool. My dream location would be Pulveglia Island in Italy.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
That's a good one. I didn't
Like
even think
we
about
literally
that.
sat down and had an episode about that one day, and then we talked about it for like an hour. We literally were like drawing out like if we could spend a week here, this is what we
This is-
bring,
yeah.
and like this is how we would do it.
yeah.
We got really nerdy about
Shout
it.
out Living History Mysteries. We will be on Drew's show next week, Ghost to Ghost PM. I believe Friday.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I don't honestly remember what day exactly, but yes.
I think it was Friday.
Let's see. Another question. Do you guys believe in anything other than just ghosts? Say like cryptids or aliens, or like, do you have any theories on any of that stuff?
It's interesting you mentioned cryptids because I was watching a YouTuber, Carpetbagger, and he bought like these little cryptid figures. And I was like, what the heck are cryptid figures? I've never even heard of cryptid figures. So I looked up cryptid figures. I'm like, oh, I didn't even really realize that was a thing.
You want to get a freaking tattoo of a
Well, I know, but I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that was a thing. Like, seriously, I did not know. So, yeah. So I was kind of like,
I don't know if you guys have seen those AI generated like your province or whatever, or like your state, like into like a cryptid. Like he wanted a tattoo of it, like of Ontario, and I'm like, I love you.
Sorry, that's how gullible and naive I can be sometimes, guys.
But I kind of do believe in the weird stuff. So like Loch Ness Monster, actually, because Scotland, like Loch Ness Monster. I think potentially there's a dinosaur. I don't know if it does exist, but I love that type of stuff. Aliens,
Bigfoot.
I kind of all believe in that. So
What do you think? Hold on, sorry, I gotta collect myself. What do you think Bigfoot sounds like?
I want to say he's like a mixture between like Chewbacca and a bear or something. Chewy, you know.
Do you think you can make the sound?
What's that?
Do you think you can make the sound?
no,
I don't think so.
Me and Riley had a full episode, and we both were like, "All right, you gotta like actually like make the Bigfoot sound."
This is what we've come up with. I think he's gonna sound like this. There's like a little hop in your voice when you do it. You have to do the little, otherwise it doesn't sound right.
Man, and people get paid for that on TV to like do that. That's the best part. But honestly, I do kind of think that it's like a more of a whooping sound than anything. Like at least that's what I've always been like told. You do such a good job with that.
I think that's what it would. I think that it would have to sound like that. Like all the reports say that it has like a whooping like noise to it.
Huh.
So was it last episode that we were talking about this too? That Bigfoot could technically be an interdimensional traveler because that's why we can't find him.
Or an elemental, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, that's why no one can ever see it or find it or catch it because it's just traveling between dimensions. Or
that's exactly.
I think it would make a lot of sense.
See, so we've been opened up to this theory that spirits, aliens, Bigfoot, all of that stuff is actually all the same thing. They're all just different forms of energy, which if they are a physical being
manifesting in different ways.
Technically, are a form of energy.
This is the most obscure like hypothesis I think we've ever had.
But I mean, it makes more sense. The more I talk about it, the more it makes sense for some reason. Maybe that's because I'm crazy.
Oh
I don't
god.
know.
This is like the day that we sat down and we said that dimensions just cross over each other and that like we're all living in so many different dimensions that like sometimes we run into each other and that's when we see like the spirit over there.
Have you guys seen the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once?
I don't think I've even heard of it.
No? Oh my god. Okay.
It's new.
It's new. It won a lot of Oscars. So, but Everything Everywhere All at Once, I think it's on Prime.
Yeah, it is.
Look it up. You guys would really like that movie.
The guy from the Goonies is in it.
It's
I love it already.
I don't want to give anything away, but it does
Right.
involve like interdimensions, like several dimensions falling into each other. It's pretty cool.
That's
it's
so
a good
cool.
movie.
Think about it. That can make sense of why there's like photos of like time travelers.
Yeah,
Have
or
you
like
seen
that.
those?
Yeah, like the old film where the guy is walking around on what looks like a cell phone, and it's like in black and white film, and it's like, okay, you really shouldn't be there, and there's no explanation for it, and the photo was never doctored, so it just like explain it. I can't. I don't know. Was he a traveler or the Somerton man, the guy that they found washed up on the shore that was completely like he was like basically like a Men in Black, where it just like completely scrubbed of all. Like, what do you want to call it?
DNA.
Not even DNA, but like he hadn't been born yet, like type of thing. I forgot how the whole story went, but it was really weird. Like he was a time traveler.
Yeah, that stuff fascinates me. Like ever since I was a kid, though. Like I was into
I
that
kind of
stuff, but
like X-Files and
oh my gosh,
that kind of
X-Files,
stuff, right?
love
Like,
X.
So, do you believe that? Like, okay, so like how like the Bermuda Triangle, how weird things happen there.
Yeah.
Or say like the Agikahara forest, where like it's like they say it's the suicide forest because it's like such a like a dark energy that surrounds it. Do you think that the earth just has pockets where it's like sucking people in and it's almost like feeding itself? I know it sounds funny like that, but
I mean, like I mean, I don't have a lot of knowledge on this, so I can't really say. But I know
Right.
like a lot of the ley lines and stuff too, the
Mm.
energy. So I think there's certain areas. So I believe there's more than just one. Like there's a Bermuda Triangle, but I believe there's a lot more too
right.
that
I
are
think there's one
similar.
in the lake over here too, to be
Yes.
honest. I think there is.
Yeah,
Yeah, there is one over the Great Lakes.
Yeah,
I
there's
feel
a
like
Great
there
Lakes
is.
Triangle.
I don't
Yeah.
know which big lake it's over,
We've
but
been- it's all of them.
is
All of
it?
them, yeah. It's
Yeah,
like all of
but
them.
even in I just I mean not that I just recently heard about ley lines and how they work and the grid pattern and so
Oh,
when
yeah,
they
I'm-
overlap each other, their
I'm
energies
also
are
not-
higher. And so our area, the Niagara region, is right in the hub of a specific ley line apparently.
Oh, really?
Hence why there's so much activity.
Yeah.
So
It
I
makes
don't know.
sense. I mean, but like it just makes sense because you think of a lightning rod. Where the most energy is where you're probably like collecting, like the best evidence because everything is supercharged there. Like you go to some field where there's nothing, there's no energy whatsoever. You're probably not gonna catch anything unless you get like a freak occurrence where
Yeah.
you just
Mhm.
do.
Well, it's
Does
like
some of
the
your oh, go ahead.
no, I was just say it's like the pyramids in Egypt. They were built in a certain spot because of the energy and the
stars and stuff,
stars and everything coincides, I guess. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a coincidence. I don't know.
Did the aliens help build the pyramids?
That's yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
Loaded
when you look
question.
back and you think about the size of the rocks and everything. And I mean, I get you can move a lot of things with leverage and logs, and there's explanations behind
But
that.
still,
it's-
manpower can only go so far.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's definitely a theory for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think me and Riley are probably some of the most obscure theorists out there. So
We have some pretty out there theories, and we don't claim
That's
to be
all right.
experts on any of them.
I'm a jack of all trades, but I'm not an expert of any. So I would say like with like talking about skepticism too, it was funny because one of our investigations when we went to the Eloise Asylum here in Michigan, it's over in Detroit side, so like closer to the city, whatnot. We got to investigate. It was Eloise Asylum, which it used to be on like a full ground. It was like a whole complex where it basically was its own city,
Basically, yeah.
and
Oh.
it housed like it wasn't criminally insane.
No, they had different
They did have
floors.
criminally.
Yeah,
was
so
it a
they
criminally
had,
insane
like,
floor? I
yeah,
think there was. Yeah.
It was like the bottom.
Yeah, it was in the
top
basement.
floor. Top floor.
Was it? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But they would do lobotomies, shock therapy here, and like one of the original buildings was still there. They hadn't really done much to it other than tried to preserve
There
it as
was-
well as they could.
There was still paperwork from
Yep.
whenever it shut down. I don't know the exact dates.
Yeah, I can't
but-
remember the dates off
But
the top
like
of my head either.
paperwork still in the building from that day. The
Yeah,
last
like
day.
X-ray scans too that were like to the day, like
Wow.
when they were taken and whatnot. But so we were upstairs in the geriatric ward, I think it was.
Yep.
And we had brought this it's like a light up duck that we
Right
always
here.
use. Yeah, so we have like a trigger
It's like a cat
object.
toy, but
So you
Oh.
click it, yeah, and it lights up. So like you have to click the button that's in it. So
yeah,
we
and
set it
goes
in the
through a
middle
sequence
of our group that we were with because we
without telling anyone.
we didn't tell a single person that we were
It's
doing it.
so
We just
dark,
did
You
it.
can't see in front of your. You can't see your hand. in front of your
Yep.
face.
And then we would ask, like if anybody's here with us, could you please make the duck light up? And like no joke, on demand, like 15 or 16 times it just did it. And there was
Wow.
a kid that was with us in our group, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm a skeptic. Like I just came because it seemed like fun. Like everybody else wanted me to come, so yada yada yada." And then he was like, afterwards, he pulled aside and he goes, "I can't explain what just happened." So you
Yeah,
guys,
he's like,
you guys changed my mind.
Can I see the duck? And
Yeah, and
see
he
how
like
it works?
inspected it,
And,
was like,
we had to go.
nope.
Well, actually, it's so cold right now; it's frozen, so it doesn't work.
yeah. So
but
it just completely stopped
we're like,
working, and I was
find
like,
us in
"That's
like 15 minutes when it's in my pocket for a little bit and warms up, and it'll work again and you can inspect it. And he
Yeah.
came back and checked it out, and
And
he
it
was
was-
like, okay, this just makes even more no sense than
Yeah, like you could shake it around, you could do whatever you wanted with it, but it
Yeah.
wouldn't just turn on. It was weird. It was one of the weirdest experiences that
And we
I've
had
seen.
bought that on a whim. We were just like, we got to bring some type of trigger object. And
Yeah, we were at like
Yeah.
a Meijer, which is like a Walmart. We
Yeah.
were like,
Oh,
yo,
wow.
let's go buy a duck.
Well, we speaking of toy, like basically a toy. So when we did the Conwood Mansion, so we were at Walmart because we had to kill some time, and so I bought a doll, a motion sensor doll. Though we've debunked that one, and a dog. You know, like the kid dog. Actually, I think it's in the basement.
Yeah.
But like where you touch the hand. So I thought like, but it times out, so it didn't work for our purposes. But I think when we just did Chase Manor with Tommy and Paranormal XP, I think I'm pretty sure I debunked the doll because it gets set off by light too. So we tried that. So that would have been super creepy if it actually worked properly.
Right.
So like the doll would jump up and down, and it actually at Chase Manor, which is weird, it just stopped working. Like I couldn't even get it to work with brand new batteries. So that was weird. So, but
Do you guys run into things always dying on you? So like on your investigations, like have like full new batteries and things, and then it just drains it and it's dead as hell. It seems to
my
happen to
camera
us quite
batteries
frequently.
like should last way longer. They don't. Like
Yeah.
it's
walkie
stupid.
talkies turn on by themselves.
Yeah, we've had that
all
happen
the
like
time.
3 times now.
Wow. I haven't. We don't
It's-
actually.
We don't have walkie-talkies.
Yeah, but I wish we kind
One
of
time
did.
a
but-
voice came through. That was at Licking County Jail. We just bought these walkie-talkies. They were brand new, and they turned on. A voice came through, and
Which I mean, it could have been catching somebody else's frequency, but at the same time, it was like
Yes.
11 o'clock at night, so it was like
just so
weird.
Like,
Hmm.
I don't know how to explain that one.
It was in the middle of the city too, which I also that investigation was cool because in Newark, Ohio, the Old Lincoln County Jail is just in the middle of town, and it's like it's the oldest building looking like around there. So like you just kind of pull up to it, and it's just this big ass like tall square
Looks like a
jail.
castle. Doesn't
Yeah,
belong
and then
there,
everything
though.
else around is like urbanized and new, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, what am I looking at? This is awesome.
Yeah.
But that was a really fun investigation too. We caught a jail cell door moving and a disembodied voice that answered one
Oh,
of our
wow.
questions. It was
Yeah, we
crazy.
have- Yeah, like we haven't had anything move on
Move,
us.
yeah.
Just mostly voices. Our craziest though we ever captured was Conwood Mansion again. I don't know if you guys seen the short where the ghost mimicked my voice, or not my voice, but mimicked my
Yeah.
words.
I seen that one.
That was the craziest thing we've captured
That
so
was
far.
weird.
That blew me away.
So weird.
Like I can't even, because like even like I listened back and I'm like, so like the very first voiceover you hear me talking, I'm in shock because I'm actually in shock. So like, because I'm like listening to it and I'm like, what did I just hear? And then I'm like, you have to listen to this, and he puts it in like, you're like,
I was like, whoa.
what? And I like listened back again, and then I did the voiceover, so that's why it was like
I gotta let,
crazy.
I gotta let this
Completely
one-
Our dog
necessary.
needs to go outside. She's But yeah, no, that was the craziest evidence so far we've caught. But that was like after the fact. Like I sat on the evidence for like, because that was November and I didn't release the episodes until recently. So I sat on all that
Yeah.
evidence for so long without realizing I caught it.
Oh yeah, like that's one thing
That's
that
we do that a lot.
we do that a lot.
Like a lot.
We have so much footage from Double J that we could probably release a whole nother episode.
Yeah. That's
Like,
insane.
We cut out so much because we were trying to make literally a 6-hour investigation an hour long. You know, like
Do you find yourself when you're editing like I hate the editing process because it's so hard to go through all of it?
so what
Like
I
it's
do,
it's such a daunting task to me.
it is because I don't really know how to. I don't know how to do the fancy edit stuff. So I'm like, because I'm like self-taught. So I do a lot of parts because like even like there's some stuff might not be crazy. I still leave it in because I don't want.
It's
I wanna
it's
show
validation.
people- Yeah, like I want to show people the side of like the boring side, but also I mean there's some stuff I do cut out, like there's like dead space or dead air or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll like cut out, but generally I try. So that's why my episodes, like if it's a bigger location, it will be like 3 episodes or 2 episodes. Like Mackie Mansion and Washoe were both 3. Beck House was 3. Conwood Mansion was 4, which I would never expected, but there was just so much stuff that happened that I had to make it 4. It was just crazy.
Right.
I mean, mind you, like the first episode though, part 1 was just like a walkthrough, so it was only 20 minutes long. But but I wanted to like showcase the location. That's why I did that.
Oh yeah,
walkthrough.
I say that's
Yeah.
what we always say is we want to like give a good like bit of history and then give them some good publicity as well because it's
Yeah.
the right thing to do.
Yeah, especially with Conwood Mansions, what's unique about them is that they just are allowing people to investigate that location.
Heck yeah.
And they have like a resident team, or not say resident, I don't know why I said it like that. A resident team. They're actually newer investigators too. They've only been investigating for a couple of years, but they're like the main ones. So we were the very first overnight investigation there. So that was kind of cool. And plus it's like in Selkirk, Ontario, and that's only like an hour and 20 minutes from us too. And we actually are going back there for a public ghost hunt. And so I can actually meet the team. And there's another like a pretty famous team in our area. Two of the members are going to be there too, so I get to meet them. So I'm kind of excited.
Sweet, I love that.
So yeah, and especially catching what we caught there. I want to go back and if we can experience something similar or something. I don't know.
That's how I feel about every place we go to. It's just like, oh my gosh, that was
You
like,
get
so
such
fun.
a
I wanna
small
go back.
sample
Like,
size when you go once. Like it's just it leaves. I don't want to say a sour taste in my mouth because it's not, but I am so disappointed when I'm having to like pack my stuff up and leave because I'm like, there's
Right.
so much more this can
like,
offer me.
Double J like was one of those. It's 30 minutes away, and it's this massive resort.
How many fucking acres was it? Like
It's
800 acres or something?
It's like
it's
1,500
ridiculous.
acres. And they have
Wow.
buildings all over, and like a huge music festival happens there every year.
Yeah, and they were like, you guys have full access to every building, and like even like there was there was a dark thing that happened where there was like a fatality where they don't want us talking too much about it or giving like the gory details or whatnot.
But we didn't even get to do that building yet.
Yeah, and that was on the docket, but that was because we did
Yeah,
everything.
and like we had all this like
Ugh.
we have a bunch of things that we're not actually supposed to talk about, but like they happened at the resort, and there is paranormal activity related to that incident that happened that we were told about, and it's just like, oh my gosh, we need to get in there. Like obviously
Yeah.
we can come back anytime we want, and just has to work out for
Our schedules
for
are
us.
always so tight.
They're like, you can come back any day you want. It just has to work for us.
Well, and it's
Yeah.
funny too that earlier you said always keep your camera rolling, you know. As soon as we were getting ready to be done, we walked back into where we were originally going to start our investigation, which was like I guess you could call it their back 40, which is like this old pioneer town that they like mocked up to look realistic.
It was made for
Yeah.
a Western movie set.
But they also had all kinds of antiques and stuff from the actual ranch that I forgot what his
Original
name was.
family.
Yeah, the original family owned the land and whatnot. And it's all in like spread out through every building and whatnot. So we do like this like funny little like walk up and intro so it looks cool. And we're like, yeah, dude, hell yeah, that's awesome. Like check it out. And then we're sitting there and all of a sudden there's just this door over at like the bar that's probably like I'd say like 30 yards away. And it's just like rattle, 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 rattle. And it's like somebody's like literally like just trying to get out and like jarring it. And we're like, what? It's 3 a.m.
Wow.
So
We're
we
the
go
only ones in the entire resort.
and we go running over there and we're like, everything's locked. Like what the heck? So we go around every single door. Everything is locked. Even our stuff is locked in the office because it was like a Halloween weekend, and the people that let us in were like, I'm going to a Halloween party. We're gonna get drunk, have fun.
And I forgot. about this.
I was like, I love you guys. Enjoy, be safe. We're gonna enjoy us. But yeah, it was wild. I mean, I couldn't even I was so blown away that we had caught so much evidence on somewhere where you just don't think you're going to. Like I went there going, it's an amusement park where people are every day, and it's there's no way. Like I can't imagine this.
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of like Conwood Mansion because it's a museum. Like it's like I kind of go in blind to a lot of locations. Like I was like at Mackey Mansion or Washoe Club, we were hoping for evidence, like or hoping for activity. We basically got it there. But there's some places I'm like, I don't even know. Like like the battlefields. We had some weird things happen in the battlefields, like through sensory depth. The one where you were there with us and you're like, and she's like, can you hear her? Like, or because they were asking me questions and I was like answering them what I was hearing, but obviously I couldn't hear them. So he's like, is she like, can she hear us or whatever? And Reese is like,
is she cheating? Don't cheat.
Yeah, it's like
no cheating.
So there's places like where we've like, but Conwood Mansion sticks out to me being like the place where I was not expecting what we caught,
Mm.
especially because a lot of it was all camera audio stuff we caught. Like it was crazy.
It makes me want to reach out to more like places that people aren't very familiar with being
Mhm.
haunted, but do have like some historic meaning to them, or are just generally old. Like, you know, I can't say that every location that you're ever going to run into is going to have a haunting in it or something, or any type of paranormal activity. But I guess I would put my money on if there is any type of history there where, granted it be like traumatic or just even, how do I want to say this? Like,
Historic for the town, maybe.
yeah, like it's a big
there
thing.
was two people that had this meeting that was like really big. You know, there was a lot.
Yeah,
of
like it
news and hype
decided the
behind
fate
it.
of this whole like thing that made the whole town the way it is now. Like, I guess like things like that, I would wonder if that there was enough energy put forward that it would imprint itself in its surroundings, and then forever and always, you know, it's there.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
it always has to be related to tragedy, because I guess
No.
that's probably what most people always will jump to with paranormal stuff. Is it always has to be with death, or it's always closely related with the dark side of it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
Yeah.
like I mean, with kind of with Mansion, like there was nothing tragic that happened there either,
Right.
right? It was just a house with like a family who left, like they ended up moving away, and another family came in, and the place was left abandoned until the 80s, and they restored it.
Mm.
So like, it's like that was it, and it's like literally you drive there, and you're like, am I on the right road? Because you're driving into like a farm area, right? I mean, Selkirk is like
Right.
farm. It's like
Like you're just driving through a cornfield, you're like, fuck it. Like whatever.
yeah. Oh, was there corn?
No,
Tobacco.
Tobacco. There's
Yeah.
Tobacco.
Yeah, a lot of tobacco
You're
around
just
us.
like stuffing your corn cob.
So, and there's like windmills. Actually, in my B-roll, because I have a drone, so like I'm
That's
just
awesome.
learning how to fly it. So,
Yeah, no.
anyways, there's like obviously I cut it out of like the intro, but like there was like windmills, like the like the big ones, not
The
like
ones where you walk up to and you go, wait a minute, this is way bigger than I thought it was.
like those. Actually, he helped like not those ones there, but he's
I've
helped.
been on projects.
Yeah, he's in construction, so he's put
That's
those up.
crazy.
But
Heights make me
but
shake,
yeah, like-
though. Every time I see a video of that, I'm like,
but yeah, and like there's like it's middle of nowhere, so like it's interesting that we like there's places like that. I mean, obviously the battlegrounds, obviously a lot of stuff tragic
Yeah,
things happen there. Old Angel Inn, obviously it burnt down. The foundation's original. Old Angel Inn, not Old Angel Inn, sorry, Prince of Wales. That's Niagara Lake is tragic in itself.
Yeah.
So
They're
Right.
pretty much like when you do the ghost walk tour, they're like, there probably isn't a house here in Niagara on the Lake that isn't haunted.
oh,
or-
it's in haunted,
or
yeah,
has some sort of spirits roaming.
yeah,
But the guy's like, but we respect the people that live here in their homes, and because you don't want to bring attention to that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. So we respect all that. But
Yeah.
he said, odds are, if you live in Niagara on the Lake, you're living in a haunted house.
yeah.
that's so cool. It sounds like
Yeah.
we picked the wrong town to like settle down in.
Shout out Danny, who will be on the show tomorrow.
Awesome.
So I guess it's funny that you guys are able to get into these awesome locations, because a lot of our locations that are in Muskegon and around the Michigan area are realistically are graveyards. Like, unfortunately, I guess it's not unfortunate, but
Yeah,
I don't say that we aren't malicious when we go investigate graveyards or cemeteries. Like, honestly, like usually we'll get the background of it and we'll find a story that's related to like somebody that's in the cemetery as well.
Yeah.
And then we'll go try to communicate with them. And then like a lot of the times that's where we'll get some of the best evidence. Like, what was
Yeah.
it? Nunica? We went to the Nunica cemetery, which is, I guess,
The most haunted
it
cemetery
is
in
said to
Michigan.
be.
And I agree with it.
It is and it isn't, because now it's very urbanized around it. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah. It
the
doesn't have the
aesthetic
same
isn't
aesthetic
it's
anymore.
not as like it was when I was a kid. But we had a full-blown like game of hot and cold with a child spirit named Emily that actually has a grave there that is like one of the oldest in the cemetery as well.
That's actually the legend. Because the grave that they claim is Emily's is not actually of Emily, it's of an old lady.
Mhm.
oh,
So I mean, it's all misconstrued, but at the same time, it's like we also definitely were we were communicating with a child spirit, which I wonder if it is like and the thing is, like, we don't have time to check every single grave that's in the cemetery
Yeah.
because it's a pretty large cemetery for itself, and it's set fairly in, like, so where Nunica is, where we are, it's kind of boonies. I'd say it's mid boonies, like middle of the pack. So it's still like there's like a convenience store and like a gas
But it is
station
one of
there.
those cemeteries. It's really strange. It's one of the only ones I know it's like this.
Mhm.
They literally welcome paranormal investigating.
Yeah, they leave the
literally
gates
on the,
open.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
wow.
gates are never closed, and on their website,
I've
it
never
says
been in trouble there
like,
either. Never.
they're like basically cool with like paranormal investigating. Like they like the claim
Wow.
that it's the most haunted. Or something.
But
Sorry.
puppy,
Hold on, sorry.
the dog saw a car or a squirrel.
Squirrel, definitely squirrel.
My daughter is just coming home. My mom had her. So that's why I was
Yep,
like,
I figured. I was gonna say it's definitely something outside because our dog does the same shit.
oh my gosh, she's just so loud too. It's like,
I say because she's a big fluff ball.
pardon?
She's a big fluff ball.
Yeah, she's small for her breed. She's a Newfoundland. So
Oh yeah.
yeah. So she's only 120 pounds only.
Yeah, we have at my dad's house. We have a Great Dane, and he's a little overweight right now.
Oh no.
So he looks like a big sausage. So he's really tall and he's kind of fat.
Aw.
But like I'm 6'1", and he'll stand on
He's
his back
big.
legs, and he'll be eye to eye with me. And I mean,
Wow.
I'm not short by any means, but I mean,
No.
he's heavy too now.
Yeah. My husband's
Love
aunt
it.
actually raises, oh not raises, I guess she like but shows Great Danes. And
Yeah.
she's little. She's only like 5'2", 5'3". So it's the
Damn near
funniest
the
thing.
same height.
Yeah.
God, that's super funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like the cemeteries. It's not like I'm like against people investigating. It's
Hmm.
for my own personal. And plus, I mean, there's like that's
We've
just
never
like,
ran into a Karen though, so like we've gotten really lucky. Is probably
Yeah.
the best way to say that.
Yeah, we've gotten really lucky that we haven't ran into like problems when we're at the cemetery.
Yeah.
We
Nobody's
have
ever
ran
been
into
like "Fuck
people,
you."
but they're there for the same reasons as us. So
I
we just,
did
like,
have
group
my
up.
wallet stolen at Nunica.
You didn't have
Oh,
it stolen. You
jeez.
left it somewhere, and the ghost may
And
have
I didn't
taken
leave it. I swear to God, it must have got swiped out of my back pocket because we were investigating all night, and then at the end of the night, we were sitting at where I guess there's like this little it's like a little like circle with seats on it, and I guess that's where they go and they'll release ashes and whatnot as like a little
Yeah.
memorial place. And I didn't know that was even a thing. So we were sitting down there and we were like asking questions, and we had a REM pod in the middle of it, and it started to rain, and I was like, if you make this REM pod go off, I'll leave you a gift.
Oh yeah,
And it started going off, and I was like, aha, it's raining, let's go.
Yeah.
And we left.
You didn't leave a gift.
I didn't leave
Oh,
nothing.
And
And
then the next
no.
day,
Oh,
he texts
man.
me, and he's like,
my
"Hey,
wallet.
is my wallet in your car?" So I go
was
and I
just-
spend an
it's
hour
gone.
tearing my car apart looking for his wallet, and I text him
It's
like,
just
"It ain't
gone.
in here." He's like, "All right, well, I'm heading to the cemetery to go look. It must have fell out of my pocket." He texts me like 3 hours later.
Yeah,
He's
I
like,
didn't find
searched
it.
the hell out of that cemetery, and
I called the
it's
county.
not
I did
there.
everything. I figured if they were gonna have groundskeepers and they were like,
Yeah.
you know, they might find it. So I was like, I don't know. Like it's not unexplainable because like I could be like, I dropped it. That's my bad.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, I had that fucker in my back pocket the whole time, and I was not doing anything like cartwheel or crazy, and it's never just fallen out before.
Yeah, that's
So
weird.
I don't know. Like it was really weird. Or
That's weird.
we go to Mouth Cemetery a lot, which is in Montague, Michigan, which is like 45, not even 45. It's like 25, 30 minutes away from where we are. And it's one of the, I guess, eeriest places that I've ever been because it's just this like really small but like overgrown and dark off of the road. Like you have to drive down this dirt road to like a 2-track that goes to like a dirt turnaround that's a cemetery that has a big lamp and one sign that's like, yeah, we close at dusk. It's been here since like the 1800s. And it doesn't seem like it should be there at all. And this is where we've caught some of our most compelling evidence I've ever seen myself outside of being like, I'm gonna watch this on TV and crap like that.
Yeah.
So we caught one was my wife had one of those like high powered cameras, and she
Yeah.
was taking pictures, and she has like a 3-picture, like, how do you want to say it, like almost like a clip show of this big black figure or entity like moving through the frame. And at the bottom, you can see through it, and it's like almost misty, but then towards the top, it's just solid black.
Yeah. And
it like hovers through the frame, and it's like
blocks out everything behind it too. Like, but outside of it, you can see perfectly. But
and it's not like a lens flare, because lens flare you would see like a halo and like a flash.
Like, you can see it even in the dark. The first frame, the darkest frame, you can see just the bottom of it. The next one, it's just like a little bit more of it, and then the last one, it's the full
wow.
And almost in perspective, it seems like it's like 9 feet tall. It looks huge, and it's like, what is this?
Yeah, we also caught red lights in the woods that night.
A full body apparition that I took with my phone while we were in the parking lot, right around where she caught that like black like mist figure as well. And it looks like an old Victorian style like dress. Like you can make out hands and like facial features almost.
Wow.
It was seriously wild. And this is just like a hole in the wall cemetery that we went to.
That's crazy. I mean, all our cemeteries near us like literally lock up.
Yeah.
Like with the
Really?
one, there's the one in Niagara on the Lake. We just did like a walkthrough of it. Like with our friend Jason from Cemetery World, he came up here to Canada to visit, and it's really cool because it's like a lot of rolling hills, and it was like the fall, so there's a lot of places, but that locks up. But then the German Hill Cemetery that we've been investigated, like they have to lock it up because of the transients that kind of live in the area.
The vagabonds
and like people they're doing bad things in there.
Non-desirables.
So it's like it's not the safest, but recently, I think last year, one of the statues was stolen from that cemetery too. So, wow. So I think they found it though.
I don't know.
I can't remember if they found it.
I cannot stand people that just don't have enough respect for this. Like the fact that you don't mess with the dead. Not only that, it's just so immature. Like what are we doing? Like obviously, like us as paranormal investigators, like we seek out like finding some answer to something that we can't realistically just like come up with in our heads.
Yeah.
Where do you get off the train where it's like, I'm having so much fun breaking things and taking things that aren't mine? Like, where is that fun?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just me like ranting.
Yeah, like that was like, and then like that place, rightfully so, needs to be locked up at night just because of that. But I mean, that happened at night. But there was a tree there that when we did our photo shoot in that cemetery with our kids for Halloween during COVID. Because we couldn't go trick or treating because it was like a thing not to do for the COVID. So we did a photo shoot. My sister like took pictures of the kids and stuff.
Yeah.
And there was just like this tree. Oh, what type of tree is it? It's just a maple.
I think it's a maple. Yeah.
Maple, but it's so old, and for sure it's been there since the battle. Like, I mean,
easily.
because that cemetery, the first person buried in that cemetery was from the late 1700s. It was originally a farm, and then it became a cemetery, and then the battle happened, and then now it's just a cemetery. But there was this tree that I go in there, and it almost feels like everything is drowned out. Like it's the weirdest thing for me. You never had
like
that.
You're sucked into the tree almost.
Like movie Troll. What's it? Leprechaun? No, Trolls. Was that movie with the Ernest Saves Halloween?
Oh, Ernest Scared Stupid.
Yeah, Ernest Scared Stupid. Yeah.
Yes,
that one. Like the tree. I mean, it doesn't look exactly like that tree, but the kind of is from, I don't know. It's like a really old, creepy looking tree.
I can see the cheesy movie quality too now. I love it.
But like, I don't know, that area, it's like kind of has like a wrought iron gate, like fence around it. It's like,
yeah,
I don't know.
the
it's
aesthetic
just
is real nice.
There's something there. There's something happened there. I don't know. There's something about that tree area.
And like it's funny too, because like the first investigation that me and Riley realistically went on, and we thought that we had to be like the hooligans since they locked it up. They didn't actually lock it up, so we parked like down the road. And we ran through the woods, and every time we saw a car, we like dive in the ditch and like hide. And we were like, dude, we're back in high school. This is fucking scary. Oh my God, we're gonna get in trouble. And we're like jumping fences to get into the cemetery. And we finally get in there and we investigate it. Nothing happens. So we're like, well, this is poop. Like we just ran and jumped through the woods for nothing.
And then we start walking towards the gate,
and then we realized it was open. We're like, let's just walk back to the car now with our heads hurt in shame. And I was like, and that was about the time where we realized nobody cares if you're investigating. Like, just tell them that you're investigating, and they're not going to say anything.
Yeah, I mean, like when we did the Drummond Hill Cemetery, we did it just before dusk. So, but then we left because then it started like there were some like people were walking around, and we're like, ooh. And there's actually in the video, you hear a backfire of a car, but it almost sounds like a gunshot.
Bang bang.
That's
So,
really funny.
It's just someone's
Yeah.
Honda Civic starting.
Yeah,
up.
his old shitty Civic.
That's really funny.
you
See,
can
but
actually hear the
also
balls
like
in the background.
that's awesome. We always say too that you don't have to investigate at night to catch
Yeah,
really good
I don't think
evidence.
the time is always just like entertainment.
It's just a
setting, I
detail that
think.
everybody likes. Is
Like,
it makes the
The
like the
ghost
whole
is
video
if the ghost is
cooler.
there, a ghost will always be there.
Yeah, I don't think it matters the time at all. Like it could be 8 in the morning, it could be 8 p.m., it could be 3 a.m. It doesn't matter to me. If something wants to manifest at that exact moment, it's probably going to do it.
Exactly. I mean, like we did a bed and breakfast, Brockmore Manor. I had to actually I thought they would just let us film, and it was my own fault. So it was like a newbie thing. So I just went there, booked. It was like over like $200 to stay there, but we did get breakfast in the morning. So me and Reese go, and I asked my, is it okay we film? And she's like, I don't know, because the previous owners allowed that type of thing, but there were new owners, and they didn't want that. So
Sounds like everywhere around here.
Yeah. So it was like, we're like, crap, we just spent all this money, whatever. So I was like, that's fine, like learning experience, right? But in the morning, she's like, well, she's like, I think I like you guys, like you can come back. So she actually opened up the whole place. We had the whole place
Oh, hell yeah.
to ourselves, just because she liked how we were and whatever. So that was good. But we went during the day, and we got some stuff there. So like, time, but that was actually kind of cool. Like that's why you have to like be respectful, because then you never know what's gonna happen. Because I thought I just like lost all this money by staying at that place for no reason, and then
also like making content in the dark is so much fucking harder. I can't see what the fuck I'm doing at all, and I get so mad. Like I've tripped over so many gravestones. It's not even
God, yeah. I've hit my shins on so many gravestones.
It's so bad.
Not being able to see. Because when we first started doing them, we would do them in the complete darkness, basically.
And we'd be like, like people are gonna get the real experience of what we're doing, and then we'd be like kick something, like, oh sorry. It's like, okay, this is not a good video.
We would also be like battling the bugs in the summer, because the more lights you bring, the more
it's
bugs.
bad.
And it's just like,
oh my gosh, that's like Screaming Tunnels, like where like I kept saying like, if you see a thing, it's not an orb, it's like a mosquito. Like it was so bad. And the one time we brought my daughter. So Ron wasn't for this investigation, it was Reese. But she like sat way back, and she's like, we investigate or whatever. And then we walk up to her to check on her or whatever. She goes, I just saw a skunk. Like a skunk just walked by her, and she didn't say anything. It just like wandered by her. Like, what? Oh my gosh. And then like
no scared, nothing.
Yeah, I know, like nothing. Like I'm like, great. And then dirt bikes. Almost hit us through that tunnel. Because it's actually
It's like a pass through. People go.
We're like, it's like a well-traveled one too.
Yeah, it's like there's like right across the street is like houses and stuff, and then there's like the highway, and there's this tunnel. It's called the Screaming Tunnels, and 4-wheelers have gone through there, but also a lot of like we had to stop a lot because a lot of teenagers will drive down there with their like bass booming in their car, and then we just stop, and then they kind of just stare at us, and we're like,
they're like, are they smoking pot? Like, are they doing what we're doing?
No. So but, I mean, a lot of people go there because it's like locally. I mean, it's actually like very known in Ontario, at least. Like, So, but
God, that's so cool. I say we don't really have many like tunnels around here. That's one thing that I really want to do is like explore like a cave system where like they were mining, or like go spelunking where like I guess I don't want to go get lost in a cave and then get trapped, because that sounds terrifying. Like actually terrifying.
But I think like investigating
a mine would be awesome.
Mine would be so cool.
I mean, I don't want to like investigate a mine collapse, but because then it's like, oh fuck, this is really sketchy. But at the same time, it's like people worked and like sweat down here and probably got like asbestos poisoning and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, like Virginia City, like we weren't part of that investigation, but there was a mine. They did like a little group investigation down there with New Reality. I don't know if you've heard of them, but yeah, it's like there's
underneath Virginia City is a series of tunnels all over. It's insane.
Yeah.
Like something like that sounds awesome. That sounds so cool. I say Oregon too. I know there's a place out in Oregon, or it's like the Shanghai tunnels out there. But then even the catacombs out in France, like that would be so
That would
awesome.
be unreal.
That's one thing that we haven't talked about on here yet either. But it's like I know so much about that where it's just so it is insane to me that there is that like amount of tunnel underneath a city that you could literally get lost and be lost for weeks. Like it's so insane to
You
me.
could literally die down there.
Yeah.
People have
No thanks.
died.
And they did it because they needed a place to bury people. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, that's
That's crazy.
Yeah.
super freaky.
Oh man. That's like the thing too, is like I always am like, I have these dream locations. Am I ever gonna get to do these? I really fucking hope so. That's why it's like we gotta all get famous so we can all just take some planes and go do these things and enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, it's so expensive. Like, going into this, I was like, oh, I'll just go like local places, and then like we were able to get to Virginia City, and that's kind of been on my bucket list because I've seen episodes like on YouTube. I've seen people investigate it, and like that was kind of like that was actually kind of what introduced me into the whole paranormal world. Was it? I'm not gonna. Anyways, I'll tell you off screen. But there's something, and then. Like obviously all our local, like, you know, like there's stuff in Europe. Like, I don't know. I just want to go everywhere. And I'm, like I said, like our vacations will never just be normal. Like,
Yeah.
he
I
wants to
mean,
go to
like the fire
beaches.
was ignited.
Yeah.
Like that's how we were. Like as soon as we started investigating, it was as soon as we got that like that scratch, you know, like where it's like, okay, the itch is there, but once you start to scratch it, it's like, oh man, like that felt so good. Okay, there's
then
only
so-
like so many places within like an hour radius of me. Okay, but like
Yeah.
we already went 6 hours that way. Like we could do it again, right?
Yeah. I mean, like where we are located, we're pretty lucky because like we're so south in Ontario, like, and then we're like into Buffalo. So like Hinsdale House, we hit Hinsdale. We're only an
Yeah,
hour.
like you're like right on the cusp of both, where it's like you could go either way, and there's options.
Yeah, like in a radius of like it's like 6-7 hours, we can hit so many locations.
Lots.
Or like 6 hours, like 6 hours from Vermont. There's a place in Vermont. There's like I don't know what else, like Trans Allegheny, like Wildwood, like Rolling Hills, like like, or I said that.
Yeah. But I mean that's the
I
big
don't
one.
Jeez,
Yeah,
so many,
we're just so close. I mean, obviously it's the money part of it, but
Yeah.
for us, it takes probably an hour and a half to leave
At
just
least.
Michigan,
Yeah.
and then a lot of like Ohio, I feel like is a hot spot for like
It seems like it for no
Illinois
reason.
seems like it's got tons of places. Indiana seems like it's got tons of
Yeah.
places that are like, yeah, come rent my
Well,
spot out. And
I would also think
investigate
because that's like I would say like a good travel state where it's right in the middle of the fucking states. Like it's right where people probably are always going through to get where they're needing to go, really. So
Yeah.
it just I don't know, like you get every walk of life gets through there.
there is a lot of history in that part of the country as well. Too,
Good old
so,
melting pot.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
a melting pot for sure. Like there's a lot of
Yeah.
big cities with a lot of history, going past the Civil War even too. So
Yeah.
that's cool. Michigan doesn't have much Civil War history,
Barely.
barely any. I think we were just becoming a state. Like
I honestly don't know our own history of our own state. I know more about like hockey.
yeah, same. I know every in and out of hockey. I can tell you everything you need to know.
It's funny because I actually had to think about that too. This has been so much fun though. You guys are
Yeah.
awesome. Like I love
thanks.
you guys. This is great. I know like if we ever do get a chance to come like up that way, out that coast, we definitely should do an investigation together as well. I know
Yeah.
if you guys are ever out this way, we
Yeah,
we can put
Sheila,
something together, take you to one of our favorite spots, like we could always collab
Yeah.
and do something.
Yeah,
I know there's a lot of
Sheila,
locations
we'll
out.
ask.
Well, I've heard out your way, even driving through that way. So
Yeah, like even like within like a state or two, it's like we could try to make that work for sure.
yeah,
Like if I have enough time to save some money, I could probably make it work.
that's not. Yeah, that's the saving money for locations and like the time too.
Yeah,
So.
times are hard.
Yeah, I have an enhanced license, so I can go right into Canada.
You were a lucky
Awesome.
man. I've yet to do anything like that. I've never been to Canada, and I really want to.
I've been to Canada.
And we're pretty cool. No.
Yeah.
I
The land of
almost
big
went to
moose and
Canada
polar
when I was
bears.
going to see a hockey game. With Joe.
I actually was at Niagara Falls is where I went.
That's actually awesome.
Yeah, that's where I was born. Like, well, both of us were born in Niagara Falls. Like I grew up in a little town called Chippewa, and that's also another battle there too. So a lot of fish. Actually, I was at my very first school, well, second school. Anyways, the part of the build, like, I'm sorry, I'm jumbling my words. There's two parts of the school. So one was newer and one's older. The one older was built during like the War of 1812. So that's super old. That was the cafeteria. And then the building, I think it's like 1918 or 1908 or something. It's like a little bit like still very, very old. But I want to get in there so bad, but it's right now it's like boarded up and you can't get in there. But I'm like, I would die like to investigate that location. Because the basement.
Do I get a trespassing charge for this?
Yeah, there's people in it, so I can't get like there's
It's
so
worse.
like,
Do I get a breaking and entering?
so I don't even know what it is.
It's
It's not a mosque, but it's like the
Muslims. It's
yeah,
like,
Muslim, a
like
school,
a school or something.
but they boarded it. It's
Yeah.
not boarded, but they all fenced in. But I want to get in there so bad, because it has history.
There's quite a few places around here. Like the Hackley and Hume home is like a big Muskegon thing, and it's like where all of the Muskegon history, revolves around, and those were
I
some
did
of
a
the
candlelight
founders
tour
of
there.
them. Yeah, and there's a ton of history that revolves around, and then they're like old Victorian style houses that have been, like kept up to date and kept very nice, and everything is as true to the original as it can be. So it's like, yeah, please let us get in here, but everybody's like, I can't let you because the director says. You're gonna scare away all the other people.
That's
So sad. It's tragic. Seems to happen everywhere around here too.
Yeah, it's getting better though around just the, I think, general public. Like there's people that are buying places just because it's haunted and they want to keep, the paranormal history going with it.
Yeah,
which is awesome. Like that's because it's a shame to see like these buildings that have all this history behind them and these cool stories that just like waste away of time. And like you see it with the asylums, right? Like they're so overgrown and like they're probably unmanageable at this point. Like eventually Earth's just gonna completely take it over. Become a forest with the city in it, like Chernobyl. But
makes me want to become a doomsday prepper.
Chernobyl would be a pretty freaking crazy place to investigate.
That would be pretty
talking
cool.
about dream locations, like that would be pretty sweet.
Good old Pripyat. I actually just watched that special on HBO. Such a good show.
I haven't.
And I'll say if you ever get a chance and you have HBO Max, check out Chernobyl. It's older, but I'm pretty sure it won a bunch of awards too. But it's pretty true to form and it's really good.
Yeah, I haven't. Like, I've seen it. I mean, I've seen like the ads for it. We have
like the whole trailers and whatnot.
Yeah, I just haven't. I don't know. I go through like rabbit holes of like shows. Like
I watch more YouTube than I do actually any TV shows.
I watch more YouTube than anything, honestly. Well,
I'm just trying to keep up with
watch a lot
everybody.
of fishing stuff and a lot of hunting stuff and a lot of video games.
I do a lot of anime stuff.
He's a big anime guy.
I watch a lot of anime.
He watches a lot of anime.
Really?
And now two of our kids are into anime.
I just got a tattoo of Grimjow and Toga.
Oh, cool.
Heck yeah. I love anime.
Yeah, our daughters are like, is this appropriate anime?
One of my favorites
they're young.
is 7 Deadly Sins, actually.
Yep, that's super good. I love that one. I have a giant poster in my room of it. Yeah, right now I just started Hell's Paradise, which just came out, but that manga was super good. So it's like I really hope that Mappa, which they're one of the best, does it really good justice. But the first episode was killer, so
let's check that one out.
Yeah, you're always trying to find new stuff.
Yeah,
it just came out this week too, so
don't get no newer than that.
Yeah, I was saying Boruto's going through his time skip. If you're a fan of Naruto too, yeah, super weeb.
Her daughter Lily is.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, I love that.
Well,
yeah, about that time, huh?
I think it might be about that time to wrap it up. Again, thank you everyone for jumping into the chat and chatting along with us. And thank you again, Cassie and Ron, for joining us tonight and talking about your paranormal experiences and what you have coming up.
Go
Sounds like it's gonna
splurge all of their content because it is fan friggin'
I'm definitely
tastic.
checking out the Washoe Club. That has me so interested. Like that
Yeah.
cartoon,
It was good.
that sounds
Yeah.
freaking awesome.
It sounds like we gotta try doing more things like that. I might have to like bogart some of your guys' techniques.
Totally cool.
By all means.
I don't know. It wasn't even on our idea. I don't even know whose idea that.
I think it was Jason. Either
Jason?
Jason
So
or Levy.
Yeah.
But
So we'll have to
Yeah.
talk. But there's like 3 other. So we did a collab with 3 other teams.
Yeah.
So like there's it's all the same evidence or like evidence obviously, but like
filmed at different angles.
different angles and different experiences.
Perspective
Yeah.
experiences,
So
yeah.
I love that. Well, this has been such a blast. I'm so thankful for you guys. Thank you for everything. I know we'll probably end up be doing like another episode like this again in the future because
For sure.
I can only like imagine what you guys are gonna catch on this next big adventure you guys are going on.
Oh,
And you guys are gonna spoil it off
revealing?
camera for us, right? You better.
Pardon?
You said you better spoil it for us off camera.
I don't know.
Oh, man, I love it.
You're gonna die. That's all I'm gonna say.
This one's close to the heart. But yeah, I just want to say, remember to keep your ears and eyes open for what really goes
Boom.
in the night.
And we will be live tomorrow as well, 8:30 with Danny.
Love you guys. Check out their stuff for real. Do it.
Links down low.
Thanks.
Everybody.